Chuckie Egg, as I was finishing off the previous game, I was already thinking of another idea, and I realised that you could do pixel movement on the Spectrum, even though the received wisdom was that you couldn't, everything had to be character movement. And so I wanted to do a game which was pixel movement. Pixel movement was an advantage just because it was technically superior, it would be better to play, it would look better, you could make a better game. I think the first thing I did with Chuckie Egg probably was get the man moving around left and right, but pixel movement rather than character movement. Seeing a chap move pixel by pixel and not even animated, just a smooth scrolling box, probably something like that. Probably took a few weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, something like that, to get a smooth moving box, moving left and right. And the game design for Chuckie Egg came about mostly nicking ideas from what I loved playing in the arcades. It's a cross between the game I think was called Space Panic, which is a platform ladders game, and Donkey Kong, and then a few ideas that I just chucked in myself. A bit of a mishmash, really. I didn't name Hen House Harry, and I didn't name it Chuckie Egg. Both of those names were A&F's idea. I designed the look of the characters and how they moved and the gameplay, but they came up with the nice sort of marketing side of it, calling them nice, interesting names. I think I called it Eggy Kong in my head, you know. The game, I think, when it first showed A&F, I think I had the man moving around, going left and right, going up and down ladders, pixel movement. I hadn't put any colour on at that stage, so it was all just monochrome. But I had, in my head, I had all the game ideas, and the game design was done, and most of the memory was mapped out. You know, you have to have a rough plan of how much memory you're going to use for each different part of the game, otherwise you get to the end of the game and you've run out of memory, and you can't do what you thought you were going to do. When I first showed them the game, brilliant reaction. They were so pleased, and I was just this 14, 15-year-old kid that made the bacon butties, and got the bacon butties and made the tea. And then I showed them this game, and they were grabbed people from around saying, "Hey, come and look at this," and they made a big fuss over it. And it was, you know, and it felt like a genuine fuss. They weren't just saying, "Oh, you know, well done." They really liked it. They put me on a retainer, and I think it was £50 a week, which they paid me on the understanding that when it was finished, I would give them first dibs on it, so they'd get first refusal of the game. And as the game got closer and closer to being finished, I think I started to spend a bit of time programming it, writing it at their office upstairs rather than at home. But that didn't work out, there was too many distractions, so I ended up working back at home again. So I'd bring it in, show them what I'd done, and then they'd add that to the next bit of the BBC version, which was parallel-ish, but they were slightly behind what I was doing. Doug Anderson, I think his name was writing that in sort of parallel, but slightly behind what I was doing. I was 16 or 17, but I was still at school when I finished it. And A&F were putting pressure on me to, you know, come on, get it finished off, get it finished off. And so there was 1 or 2 things that I didn't put in, which I wanted to put in, but in the end, they just said, right, that's it, finished. And then they took a master copy and started making copies. They designed the cassette inlays. They came up with the names of Hen House Harry and Chuckie Egg. They started sending it out to magazines to get reviews and started making copies of it. When the game came out, I was so excited to see reviews of it in magazines. I remember the reviews being good, 80-something%, 90-something%, and really nice comments, and I would have been heartbroken if it if it had been bad reviews, but it got good reviews. They started telling me that it was selling really well. Yeah, they started saying they've had loads of orders, they were so pleased with it. It was selling way and above anything that they'd experienced in the past, I think. In terms of the orders that they were getting, and they also managed to get it into the majors retailers like W.H. Smith's, which I think was the big deal really. If you got in, you had to get in there to have the big sales, and they managed to do it with Chuckie Egg. It got to #1 in the charts. That was, I think, beyond my wildest dreams. That was fantastic. I got a real buzz when I went into W.H. Smith's in Stockport, I think, and I'd heard that it should be on the shelves, and so I went in to have a look. And it was there, and it was on the shelves, and it wasn't just one cassette. There was a big stack of them there, waiting to be bought by people. And I was so excited. I kind of looked around and thought, does anybody know it's me?